Another week to kill it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, let's go. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stoop Life Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about college football. So if you guys aren't really interested in college football, well, then this might not be the episode for you. But if you are interested in college football, and more importantly, if you're interested in making money, then this episode is for you. Today, we're going to be talking about week 3 in college football. We're going to be talking about picks against the spread, over-unders, and locks of the week. Third week, which means we had a lot of picks. A lot of picks going on so far. So, for the year, we are overall 29-14. Now, that's about picking like 16 to 18 games per week. That's not just picking one or two, obviously. We're picking a lot. We're picking a lot because we want to give you guys a lot of opportunity on games that we like that you can choose from for parlays, for single bets to make money. So if you bet ours at 29-14, you're winning money, a lot of money. Last week, we went 12-8, which I wasn't very happy with, but I will say this. I am happy with it because I said last week it was the hardest week in college football, and I thought I was going to go the opposite. I thought I was going to go 8-12. So we went 12-8, good game. Overall for the year, we're 20-8 against the spread, and we're 9-6 on the over and unders. Now, I want to point out something about the over and unders because 9-6 doesn't sound that good, but we were 3-5 last week on the over and unders, which was crazy. But we all know how hard last week's games were. A lot of upsets, a lot of things happened that shouldn't happen. That's why I always said week 2 in college football is the hardest week in sports. Last week, we went 9-3 against the spread. Pretty damn fucking good. If you guys have to ask me, 9-3 is pretty damn fucking good. If you guys know anything about it, it's pretty good. So let's start with this week. We got a slate of plays. And I'm not going to bullshit. I'm actually pretty confident in a lot of my picks here. That's why I picked a lot here. So we're going to start with the 12 o'clock games. And we're going to give you guys my first lock of the week. We're going to go with number 6, Oklahoma at Nebraska. Number 6, Oklahoma is one of them teams that absolutely looks phenomenal. And give me a second. All right, sorry for that. We're back. But number 1, 12 p.m., lock of the week. We like number 6, Oklahoma at Nebraska. And we're taking Oklahoma -11. The reason we're taking it is because, number 1, we believe that's a low line. And we believe it's a low line because Nebraska just fired their coach. But let's be real. They are a terrible football team. Absolutely horrible football team. 31 points per game allowed. I get they fired their coach. They might come out playing to prove something. But let's be honest. This isn't a good team to go against after you fire your coach to show that you are actually good. Because Oklahoma's ranked number 6. They're one of them teams that's going to have to win every year to make it to the top, to make sure everybody knows that they have a chance to win college football playoffs. So we're taking first lock, number 6, Oklahoma -11. Put it in. We're going to stick with 12 o'clock games. We're going to give you guys number 1, Georgia, -24 at South Carolina. Now, a lot of you are probably like, oh, wow, you think they're going to cover that. Last week, none of the 20-point favorites that we took covered. I think Georgia's going to make a point to show that they're not like those other teams, that they're number 1 for a reason, and they're going to dominate an SEC foe and just run over them. Their points this year so far, 41 points per game scored, 1.5 points allowed. And remember, they played Oregon. So keep that in mind. South Carolina, they're very one-dimensional. They lost to Arkansas 44-30. They're a one-dimensional football team. They can't run the ball. Georgia already is the best run team in college football. So now they just got to do what they do and stop your pass. Good luck. Georgia's going to roll them through the water. They're going to go 3-0. Remind everybody yet again why they're ranked number 1. So take Georgia minus 24. If you can get at 23.5, lock that in as well. Another game I like. We're going to go to the over. We're going to go Michigan at home versus UConn. I would take Michigan with the points, but it's like 45. I don't like to do them 45-point spreads, even though we're 1-0 with them this year. We're going to go over 59.5. Now, I like this because so far this year, Michigan has scored by themselves 56 points and 51 points. Both of their games have went over 59. Connecticut has allowed 48 points already this year. So Michigan's probably going to score 50+. They might score a touchdown or two. So I think it's going to be a 55-10 game. So you're looking at 65. You're looking at over. Might even be more than that. I feel like Michigan's also one of them teams that has to dominate their opponents. They're ranked number 4. They want to remain number 4. They want to actually look like they're better than Ohio State. So I feel like Michigan's going to run the board. They're going to cover that spread. It's going to be Michigan over 59.5. Put that game in. Now our fourth pick of the day. We got a 2 p.m. game. So we're going to get 2 p.m. games. I like another over. I took them twice. Once this year. I didn't take them last week because I wasn't certain yet. But work on UCLA at home versus South Alabama. Now, UCLA is a team that likes to score the ball. They score 45 points per game. You haven't played really anybody good yet. South Alabama is also scoring 43 points per game. So we got 2 teams that like to throw the ball, 2 teams that like to put points up, 2 teams that don't really got a defense. So we're going to go with this game to go over 59 because we're going to see a lot of balls going deep in the California air. So UCLA versus South Alabama over 59. Lock that one in. Pick number 5, we got our second lock of the week. We got Mississippi at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has looked absolutely awful so far. Awful. They're 1-1, but they looked awful. They're 0-2 against the spread. Their points are 22-29 allowed, are scored and allowed. And Ole Miss, the SEC team, SEC powerhouse, that's looking to prove that they're still good, even though they lost their quarterback from last year. So we like Ole Miss to cover 15.5 points. They're going to lock it in. They're 2-0 against the spread. Other teams 0-2 against the spread. SEC, ACC, we're going to take the SEC powerhouse here. I feel like Ole Miss rolls. I feel like Ole Miss is going to be up the leaderboards this week. They're going to move up their rankings. So lock of the week, number 2, Ole Miss minus 15.5 at Georgia Tech. We're gonna move on to the 3 o'clock games. We got one of our upsets of the week. A lot of you might not agree with this pick, so be wary of it. But I like it. Last week, everyone told me, don't take this team. They're not going to win. What'd they do? They fucking won. I'm undefeated in taking them this year. Dating back to last year, I'm 14-1. They lost one time against the spread when I took them. That's it. So we like them again. This time, they're the dog. Probably because they're on the road. We got number 12 BYU going to number 25 Oregon. Now, I like BYU getting 3.5 here. I feel like that's the play. Plus 3.5 here. But Oregon hasn't looked that good yet. I get they played Georgia, then they played a shitty team. But BYU's look great. They beat Baylor last week. They can move the ball when needed, and they can stop you when needed. Has Oregon proved that yet? We don't know. We don't know yet. But I know something about BYU. BYU is legit. So the fact that BYU is the underdog here, I like it. They're 2-0 against the spread. They only gave up 20 points against a high-powered Baylor offense. And Oregon allowed 31 points a game. They got slaughtered by Georgia already. It's going to be a huge game. It's going to be a huge game because it's going to be very important for that conference. It's going to be important for both of those teams. So we're taking BYU plus 3.5. And we're also taking BYU with the money line at plus 145. So lock that in as an underdog. We love that play. We're riding the BYU train until they tell us otherwise, until they lose. But as of now, they're still on our list. Take BYU plus the points, plus the money line. Put it in. 3:30 game. We got another over I like. I like this game because every single time that they play, they go over. I don't like the spread, but I like the over. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a 31 to 30-point game like it has been the last 3 years. Now I'm talking about Auburn and Penn State. I think this game is going to go over 47. I remember last year it was 46.5, I believe, and I went under, and the game went way over. It went like 70. I think it's going to do the same thing this year. Two teams that are good on defense, going to slow start, and then the second half is going to be fireworks, exactly like it was last week. I like this game to be Auburn, Penn State over 47. I love it. Put that one in. Pick number 9, we're going to go to the 4 o'clock games. We're going to go with another over. I also like this one. We got number 1 Alabama at ULM. Over 59.5. Now, I like this game a lot because of a couple of reasons. Number 1, Alabama almost lost last week. They won by 1. Number 2, they got dropped down the rankings. If you go back in history and you look at any time Alabama has either lost or barely won and dropped down in standings, the following week, they absolutely blew the team out. So, as I said week 1, I took Alabama over. I was wrong last week, but prove me wrong again. I'm going to take my odds here. I'm going to Alabama games to go over 59.5 because I think Nick Saban's going to come out and electrify everybody and remind them who the fuck they are and say last week was a fluke. So, I like that game to go over. Now, pick 10 going to a 5 p.m. game. A weird slot, weird time, but I got another lock. My third lock of the week. We got number 19 Wake Forest at home versus a 2-0 Liberty team. Now, if you remember last week, I said the line started at 6.5 for Wake Forest, went up to 13.5. They won by 20. They were a 13.5-point favorite on the road and won by 20 against a 2-0 team. They were 2-0 Vanderbilt. Liberty's 2-0 as well, but coming in to Wake Forest. The quarterback, Scott Hartman, last week, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Game 1 back. They won by 20 on the road. Liberty beat UAB by 7. And they beat USLM by 4 in 4 overtimes. You think they're going to be able to keep up with this team, Wake Forest? I think they're one of the most undervalued teams in college football right now. So we're going to go with my lock of the week. Number 19, Wake Forest, minus 16.5 at home versus Liberty. Lock that one in. You'll feel safe betting it. My 11th pick, we're going to go to the 7:30 game. So you got some time in between. 7:30 games. I got this as another lock of the week. I feel like this might be the safest bet of the week, to be honest. I saw this line. I was dumbfounded. I was shocked because I don't know how it's not going to cover. We got at the 3:30 games, we got Nevada at Iowa. We all know Iowa last week got upset. I picked against them. I was right. This week, Nevada is getting 23 points at Iowa. Nevada's 2-1. They score like 40 points a game. Iowa doesn't score. They don't allow points. I don't see it being high scoring, but Iowa lost 10-7 last week, and they won week 1 against a trashy-ass Division I AA team, 7-3. So we got 2 plays for you this week, and I feel like if you parlay them together, they're a lock. We got Nevada plus 23. How are they not going to cover that when Iowa can't even score? They might have the worst offense in Division 1A. They're not going to even score 23 points. It might be a 10-3 game again. You're getting 23 points by a team that has scored 14 points total this year. I love that bet. I love it. So I'm taking Nevada plus 23, and I'm also taking the under 40 in that game. I don't like betting unders, but Iowa, same as last year, we're betting under until they lose. So I like that parlay, Nevada plus 23, under 40. I like them both solo. I like them parlayed. I feel like it's a lock. I feel like it's a lock of the week. I love this pick. Lock that game in. Pick number 13. We have another one that scratched my head. So for those of you out there that like underdogs, I say you like this pick. But beware of this pick because it scratched my head. I couldn't find any information on why this line was like this. We got number 11 Michigan State at Washington. Michigan State's undefeated. They're ranked number 11. They've steamrolled everybody so far. But somehow, Michigan State's getting 3.5 points. The money line on them is plus 143. They've won 52-0, 35-13, and they have basically the same exact team as last year that beat a top 10 ACC champion, Pittsburgh, 31-21 in a bowl game. What has Washington done in the last 5 years? Well, because they're at home. It's a West Coast game. Who cares? Michigan State, they don't care. They got a new coach. They take that run game there. I like the play there. I like Michigan State plus 3.5, and I also like Michigan State money line plus 143. Lock that game in. I feel safe with that. We're going to jump up now to our 15th pick, 9 p.m. games. We got the late night games. I actually love these late night games. If you want to just parlay the late night games together, go for it because I actually will. We got one of my plays. We got number 13 Miami at Texas A&M. Now, if you guys can go on DraftKings or PointsBet, you can get this line at 7.5. Texas A&M lost last week to Appalachian State. Miami won. They're 2-0. Huge game. Huge game for both teams. But if you're going to take the points here, I love Miami at plus 7.5 here. I absolutely love it. 5.5, 6.5, 7.5. I love it. I feel like it's going to be a closer game, and I feel like it's going to be a great game. Miami plus 7.5, the play. I also love Miami to win that game. I'm not going to tell you to bet that. I'm not 100% in that because Miami's my squad. But I feel like they're better. I feel like they're better than Texas A&M. I feel like Texas A&M was very overlooked, saying everybody thought they were better than they actually are. But I like Miami plus 7.5, and I like them to win the game outright. So I got 3 dogs I'm taking here that I like, that are higher ranked teams that are on the road that I think are going to win. So I like it. I like them. But I love the over in this game as well. I would play the over and the points. So we got Texas A&M, Miami over 47. Now both teams score more than that every game, except last week Texas A&M didn't. But 47 is a close game. Coming off of a weak game last week, I feel like the game's gone over. So I like Miami plus 7.5, Miami money line plus 180, and over 47. We got 2 more plays for you guys. Both of them are locks. 100% certain these teams covering. We got at 10 p.m., we got number 14 Utah at home versus San Diego State. A lot of people are writing Utah off because they lost week 1. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They played at Florida. The Swamp is a hard game to win. They won 33 straight home openers. Okay, Utah's good. They shouldn't have dropped all the way the fuck down. Number 14, they're gonna prove why they're better than number 14 this week. They play San Diego State, and they're gonna absolutely annihilate them. San Diego State gave up 38 points to Arizona, a team that won, 3 games in the last 4 years? Last year, Utah went on a rout after they lost. They won 11 or 12 games straight. I got Utah minus 21, covering that game easily. I think they're going to put up 60 against them again. This is going to be a 60-10 game. They're going to kill them. Feel confident putting that game in. Go to sleep, wake up, money in your bank. My final play of the week. Another lock. We're going to ride this bus until it falls off. We got number 7 USC at home versus Fresno State. Now, last week they were at Stanford. They covered. A lot of you were worried at the end there, but they put up points. Lincoln Riley puts up points. Caleb Williams, the quarterback, stud. Absolute stud. They're going to win by a touchdown or more here. Easily. Fresno State last year was good. This year they can't stop anybody. If USC's defense shows up even a little bit, it's a double-digit win easily. So we're rocking USC minus 6.5, safe bet, lock of the week. So do that late-night parlay, Utah, USC, both covering, lock them in. So there's my plays for the game, for the day. Lock them in and go win some money. Peace out, everybody. Good luck this week.